national championship, and she is ready to go again this year. Looks in shape, looks ready to play, and definitely a leader for this club. And then now the sophomore, Cameron Brink, I think one of the top 10 players in the country. Last year, 88 blocks. She's a terrific rim protector and lane protector, and there's a difference. I think she's bigger, longer, she's stronger. She certainly has a game all the way out to the three-point line, and we will see it in transition today.
Yeah, listed at 6'4", but looks taller. And let's not forget about Texas. Vic Schaefer, in his second year, had a great run in the NCAA tournament, upsetting UCLA, a 3-seed, Maryland, a 2-seed, and he's got some really exciting freshmen that we can't wait to look at. Boy, Rory Harmon, Leah Moore among this class. He's got another good class coming in, Deb, so the Longhorns are a team on the rise.
This is a hard-working group. They are a team that gets it done on the defensive end. Can they keep Stanford in a quarter court? Can they allow their athleticism and their ball pressure to be a factor? Those are the emphasis right here. You've got to keep Stanford out of transition if you can.
Number 21, there she is, Leah Moore, the freshman from Moore, Oklahoma, getting healthy after having surgery in February on her hip, and she is going to be a special player. Always special to be inside of Maples Pavilion. Another good crowd on hand, and we are underway. Texas in their very recognizable burnt orange, and Haley Jones going to send the ball in. And the big question, Deb, for Stanford is how do you replace Kiana Williams? They really don't have a true point guard on this team.
Well, Kiana Williams, the best three-point shooter in the history of their program, a 4-year starter at the top of the floor. They've got several candidates to be able to fill that role, and certainly Haley Jones very capable of initiating on the top of the floor.
And Brink right off the bat gets fouled. Nicole Murray, Brenda Pantoja, and Tiffany Bird, our officials this afternoon. Another picture-perfect day in Stanford.
And if you follow the Stanford Cardinal, Pam, you know they like to run their offense through the elbows. It's called the pinch post inside Tara Vanderveer's offense. And Cameron Brink, with her length, her ability off the bounce, gets to the free throw line on the first entry pass to the elbow.
She was only a 65% shooter from the line last year when she set that Stanford record for blocks for a freshman. She had 16 games last year, about half of all of their games with at least 3 blocks. And she hits 1 out of 2, and we already told you, there she is, Rory Harmon right off the bat.
We're gonna like watching number 3 in Texas Orange. She is fantastic, small, athletic, really good communicator for her team, and very skilled.
Big bump that sent Haley Jones to the floor, but no foul called. And Alan Taylor, one of 2 starters back for Texas, along with Audrey Warren, throws the ball away, and this is what you got to expect, right? Texas full court pressure all game.
Full court pressure, and this is what Tara Vanderveer can do to counter. She can have Haley Jones bring the ball up the floor and not have her point guards.
Oh my gosh, Stanford passes so well. Anna Wilson with the finish. Give Jones her first assist of the game. You take a look at the starting 5. Again, Warren and Alan Taylor, the only returning starters. Moore and Harmon, 2 great freshmen. Deanna Gaston, a sophomore, also getting a start.
This is one of the Princeton-like principles. When you dribble at the wing to try to make that entry, if it's not available, you go back door, and that's exactly what Anna Wilson did. And Haley Jones dribbles right at her defender. That's the way you execute that play.
Anna Wilson gets called for the foul and then asks Tiffany Bird what that was all about. Here's Harmon at the free throw line. Turned her ankle, she told us. We saw her last night. She said 3 times when they had a little practice last night, but said she's all right, ready to go. And she was in the same starting backcourt as Kendall Hunter. They played at Cypress Creek High School in Houston. Boy, talk about a great backcourt. Hunter, we will see her come off the bench. All she did was have 27 points in her debut.
7 for 8 outside the arc.
Brink right through the wickets. Harmon, who is so fast and quick, and Coach Schaefer said she will be extra special. Foul called against Texas. they're going to get Moore for the foul, trying to get the rebound. Vic Schaefer, who was born in Austin, Texas, coming home now in his second year after 8 spectacular years at Mississippi State. And getting the recruits in. I'm very excited for this matchup. We've had a lot of great matchups here just in the first week of this season.
You know what, Pam? I'm going with the product is the narrative. That's what it is in women's basketball this year. There are multiple teams that have an opportunity when we get into March. And because teams are deeper and more experienced, older, it's going to make it a fun product when we get down into March for the tournament.
Yeah, so many excellent teams. And we've had so many top 5 matchups already. South Carolina, #1 right now. Harmon after the turnover.
That is 3 turnovers in the first 2 minutes of the game for Stanford.
Very un-Stanford-like.
They did have 21 in their first outing.
And they turned the ball over about 13 times on average last year. And running the baseline, Lexi Hall. Hall had a great NCAA tournament, double-doubles against both South Carolina and Arizona. Last year, Stanford winning the national championship by a grand total of 2 points in 2 games. Moore showing some of that handiwork, but Cameron Brink's there to clean it up.
Cameron Brink, a terrific eraser on the back of pressure.
Hall, 3. Missed everything. Alan Taylor brings the ball up. Last time these two teams played a couple of years ago, Stanford, #1 at the time, lost to Texas in Austin.
Well, this game has definitely not been played clean. And what a smart read right there by Harmon. Wide open look.
And you see Lexi Hall bring the ball up. A variety of Stanford Cardinal players will be doing that this season. Brink draws the foul underneath. A distinct height advantage against these Longhorns.
Well, Cameron Brink does a great job of getting early position in transition. She runs to the front of the rim and then shapes up to the basketball. This is her second trip to the free throw line.
1 of 2, her first time there. You talk about great matchups. How about right after us on ESPN, Kentucky and Indiana, a couple of top 13 teams, and it's always a treat to watch Ryan Howard for the Wildcats right here and live on the ESPN app, one time.
Good rivals, very competitive. Indiana bringing back that squad that went to the Elite 8 last year. One of the better backcourts in Allie Patberg and Grace Berger for Indiana.
Yeah, both of them very tough players. And going inside, Ebo has checked in. Lauren Ebo, #1, Penn State transfer, now playing for Texas in her second year. Boy, Harmon getting physical out there with Hall. Here's the other one, sister to sister, Lacey missing from the outside.
I would say overall the ball pressure has definitely had an impact on Stanford being able to run pretty offense.
Yeah, that's exactly the term that Vic Schaefer used, trying to disrupt their pretty offense. So that's Schaefer's bread and butter, has been defense. Certainly that way at Mississippi State when he was an assistant at Texas A&M. Lexi Hall takes it away.
Of course, Texas running that dribble drive.
And another Stanford turnover. Anna Wilson asking for the deflection, not called. Tara Vanderveer, how about this? No one's won more games in women's college basketball history, and she got title #3 last year after winning the first 2 in the early 90s. Alan Taylor elevates, misses. That team's a little chilly, Texas especially. Just 14% from the floor so far. A little hip check in there from Harmon, nothing called as Hull hits the deck.
No easy buckets for Stanford. Texas getting 2 back in transition, making sure they try to make Stanford run some offense.
Lexi Hull looking up, asking where the foul was. Hull sits down. Both of these teams are deep, particularly Stanford. Hannah Jump, #33, the junior from San Jose, just south of here, checking in for the Cardinal.
Stanford has a lot of shooters, but Texas is not letting them catch and shoot early. They're making them put it on the floor, and that's exactly by design by Texas defense.
Trying to find someone to throw into. And there's the Texas defense. Antonelli with a great grab to keep the basketball in play.
Got to save the telestrator. Got to save the telly. Not worried about you. I'm worried about the telestrator.
That's the most probably expensive and important thing here at the table. Texas down 3 as we approach the midway point in the first quarter. All the way across to one of the fans sitting courtside, so a little bit sloppy. Both teams coming off blowout wins in their openers as Vic Schaefer's team beat the University of New Orleans almost by 195 points.
Well, 131 points. That's what they scored.
Yep, second most in Texas history.
You got to go all the way back to the Southwest Conference days when Jody Conrad was winning like a million games in a row to put a number up like that.
Lacey Hull has her 3 spin out. Stanford beat Morgan State from Baltimore 91-36 3 days ago, so much tougher test for both schools today. Ebo, you go around the horn. Harmon rims out. You see the length there of Hannah Jump probably bothered her. A few inches taller than Harmon. Brink's turn for a 3. And then Jump with the physical rebound that excites the crowd at Maples.
Another backdoor.
Ooh, pretty basketball, but not a pretty result. Hey, Haley Jones has not taken a shot yet in this game. So both teams off to a slow start. Stanford doubling up Texas so far. You are watching the Pac-12 on ESPN. And 6 minutes into this game, not a lot of scoring. Stanford, the defending champs, leading Texas by the score of 6-3. Best competition these two teams have faced since the NCAA tournament last year. Pam Ward along with Deb Antonelli, and we knew Texas's defense would be a big key today.
Well, it has to be, right? I mean, for them to have a chance to come on the road and play against all the offense that Stanford can provide, they have to make Stanford dribble into their shots. They got to make them work on the offensive end. They can't give them anything easy. Vic Schaefer's team is an up-the-line, on-the-line defensive team, which means they overplay. We've already seen Stanford get a couple of backdoor opportunities. And Tara Vanderveer likes to pick up a little bit of full court here so they can maybe change the rhythm of their offense by changing the rhythm of their defense.
Stanford already with the 5 turnovers, but Texas has converted them into exactly 0 points. Another young, exciting player in is Harmon, who we already have gushed over. Number 35 in burnt orange, Latasha Lattimore, who is a freshman from Toronto, has a lot of potential, and that's a blocking foul called against Audrey Warren.
It's one of the advantages of having a skill set like Haley Jones that Tara Vanderveer we've seen all early here in the first quarter. Jones initiate offense. You and I were talking in the break that she hadn't taken a shot yet. Well, you can see she's more aggressive coming out of that timeout, looking to take advantage of a post player guarding her in the open floor.
Yeah, I have a feeling maybe during that timeout they said, hey, Haley, take a shot. Come on. Haley is a terrific player, was the outstanding player, the most outstanding player of the Final Four, and she was here shooting at 7:30 a.m. local time next door in the practice gym. That's, help me out, 4.5 hours before tip.
Yeah, that's what all Americans do. They put the time in.
Alan Taylor elevating over Jump, who's able to get the rebound. Now Anna Wilson bringing the ball up. Big collision. Boy, they're letting them play, aren't they? Harmon and Wilson ran into each other. Ebo comes down with the rebound. Now Texas can push it. We saw them in practice last night. Stanford has gone almost 5 minutes without a field goal, by the way.
Yeah, Tara Vanderveer obviously told her team to push the ball up the floor and quit walking. They're obviously running the floor harder the last 2 possessions.
Fran Belibi also in for Stanford, number 5 in white. Warren trying to draw the foul, nothing doing.
That's either a foul or a travel, one or the other.
Levy now posting up Ebo. Wilson has not run the point before in her career, coming back as a sixth-year senior, taking advantage of the COVID year, an extra year of eligibility for everyone if they choose to take it. Shot clock skinny now for Jones. Nice play by Jump to keep it going, but she also got a little bit of Alan Taylor. Monday Night Football coming your way, our Week 10 matchup. People on the West Coast going to love this one. It's the Rams and the Niners in nearby Santa Clara. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, followed by the game, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Anna Wilson's brother, quarterback Russell Wilson for the Seahawks. They have a big game against the Packers this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing OBJ for the Rams playing on Monday night. Got cut by the Browns.
Yeah, Browns fans. Probably,
Rams picked him up.
See how he responds after some tumultuous weeks there in Cleveland. And Tar Vanveer, we talked about trying to get the point guard situation settled here. Kiana Williams played, gosh, almost every minute of every game last year as the point. Said she would like to see Anna Wilson become the second quarterback in that team, on her family, excuse me. Russell playing quarterback for the Seahawks, and Anna playing point guard / quarterback for Stanford. And she said Anna has welcomed that challenge, looking forward to it. Faru misses, a junior from Washington, D.C., who's a Mississippi State transfer. And here we go. Jones getting the ball up. Jordan Hamilton, the grad transfer from Northwestern, called for the charge. And we just take a football analogy a little bit further. This has been a very physical first quarter.
Well, this is good for Texas. The more physical it is because of the way they play D. Look at the bodies on the deck. Haley Jones trying to switch sides of the floor. Nice job, Rory Harmon getting outside the restricted area to draw that charge.
And Harmon not afraid, will not shy away from physicality herself. Harmon guarded by Hamilton with the pull-up.
Vic Schaefer loves those smaller guards. You see how compact Rory Harmon is. She is excellent off the bounce. And Texas, with this quick lineup on the floor, can get wherever they want off the bounce in their dribble drive.
And this game is Stanford 8, Rory Harmon 7. She is all 7 of their points. Nice follow there by Lexi Hall.
What an athletic play by Hall.
Senior out of Spokane, twin sister of Lacey. As we approach 45 seconds to go in this first quarter.
They're running floppy on the baseline, which is they're running cross screens across the baseline blocks. Trying to get a lot of motion and activity in there, Pam.
Yeah, pardon me. Lexi Hull called for that foul, trying to go after another loose ball. And Harmon, who is the only Longhorn to score in this game, back at the free throw line. She is 3 of 5 from the floor. The rest of her teammates 0 for 9. But still, they're only down 3.
Yeah, the lower scoring game, the better it is for Texas. You come on the road and pick up with full court pressure. Even your bigs are out denying. They went first possession through the pinch, and Texas really hasn't allowed them to play through the pinch since. Doing a great job denying entry passes into the elbow area.
Yeah, Stanford has not hit a 3 this afternoon, 0 for 8 after Wilson missed that one. So here we go, shot clock is off. Harmon, nice little hesitation. Alan Taylor couldn't hit it. Just got it off. Great resiliency for Alan Taylor, the first person not named Rory Harmon to score for Texas, and they've tied it. So So the national champs tied up with Texas after 1 quarter. Coming up, we will take a look at the cardinal rule of Stanford.
A trip to the national championship game is on the line. Jones has it and hits! Boston, no! Stanford is headed to the national championship game. Spinning, Jones got the whistle and finished. That is it! Stanford survives again! National champions in 2021.
Boy, by this much. How about 2 1-point wins for Stanford? Leah Boston missing the follow for South Carolina, and then Ari McDonald almost got that desperation shot to fall for Arizona in the championship.
Pam, we asked Coach Vanderveer yesterday if she's watched the national title game again, and she said no, and I'm like, I've already watched it 3 times. She hasn't watched it at all. Interesting.
Yeah, she said what she did see, what she likes to do is go back and what gave her hope was she looks at things and thinks, okay, this is where we can get better. Looks at things certainly far more analytically and is excited about the opportunity with all these new components with this team to reinvent this Stanford ball club. Atharu called for the travel. We had a nice conversation with her. She used some good analogies, including taking away, going back to losing their point guard, Kiana Williams. She says it's like having a boat with 5 rowers. You take out one rower, put in a new rower, and it's a whole different boat.
I love that she said we had Kiana was our key, and we need a new keychain.
Yep. Williams was so important, not just as the point guard, but as you mentioned, no one hit more threes in the history of Stanford women's basketball, which is saying something. By the way, no one's hit a 3 in this game for either team. Stanford 0 for 8, Texas 0 for 2 from distance, and it's now 0 for 9. Rebound for Brink, gives him a second look. Brink working against Ebo, and then good work by Atharu to take it away.
Now look at the size of Texas. They have 3 guards on the floor that are like 5'4", 5'5", 5'6". When you bring the ball down, Atharu is right there ready to dig in and get a deflection, and then Texas ends up with the basketball.
Atharu, spent her first 2 years at Mississippi State. Vic Schaefer built such a great program. Playing for Texas. A lot of new faces for the Longhorns. Charlie Collier, the #1 overall pick, moving on to the WNBA. Kyra Lambert, also not with the team. Celeste Taylor now at Duke.
Look at the ball pressure by
Atharu, Alan Taylor.
Hey, that's the second time I've had to handle the ball in this game, Pam.
I think you're handling it better than Stanford at times. These are the people that have left from last season, Collier and Taylor. But Alan Taylor and Warren, the only returning starters.
Boy, Texas fans are going to love watching Rory Harmon get better and better. Vic Schaefer didn't want to call her Morgan Williams from Mississippi State, but he does feel like she has some similarities to Morgan.
And how about she's got 10 points, as many as Stanford has as a team. 8 assists in the blowout win against New Orleans to start the season. Stanford still has not hit a 3. Brink fouled on the follow. Third time that Cameron will have a chance to shoot free throws this afternoon.
Really good job by Cameron Brink to stay active on the glass. Yeah, this pace is Texas. They have dictated on the defensive end. They have not made it easy for Stanford.
The college men's basketball doubleheader coming for you on Tuesday. Number 25 Virginia in Houston to take on the Cougars, also ranked at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Then the Film Night Invitational, of course it's going to be Oregon, taking on BYU. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. One app, one tap.
Virginia's going to have their hands full going to Houston to play. Kelvin Sampson, after taking his team to the Final Four last year, has got another good team coming back.
Texas with a 1-point lead over number 3 Stanford. Harmon to Matharu, and then Frechtel comes up with the block. Ashton Frechtel, just another one of those big bodies that Tara Vanderveer can put into the game at a really good NCAA tournament.
So the length favors Stanford, but the quickness favors Texas. And in that dribble drive, Stanford switches all those actions. And they have forced Texas to take a lot of jump shots. You don't see Texas getting all the way to the rim because you can't over-penetrate against that size, especially when Cameron Brink is on the floor as a shot blocker.
And after the turnover, it allows Texas to set up their pressure, and Haley Jones bringing the ball up. Such a great, versatile player, was the #1 overall recruit when she came in to the program.
Matharu doesn't allow Stanford to reverse the ball.
Great defense. Holy smokes. Vic Schaefer so pleased on the sidelines as they force the turnover.
That is some serious D right there, and that's Matharu. Watch how she jumps out on the left hand of Hall and then forces her back to the same side. That's not allowing Stanford to reverse the ball that everybody one pass away denies. It's a terrific team defensive effort by Texas.
Great job for the junior from Washington, D.C. 9 turnovers now for the Cardinal. Harmon, got to get a person on her. That one goes out. Nice rebound. Leah Moore, here we go.
Yeah, Leah Moore is the one that was touted, right, for the Texas class. The first get when Vic Schaefer got the job. He went to Moore, Oklahoma to get Moore. Task number 1.
As you saw, Aaliyah is the pick for the preseason freshman of the year in the Big 12. Hull thought about the 3 and then lost it. Haley Jones trying the circus shot over her head. Stanford not able to get into their pretty offense this afternoon because of Texas's relentless defense. The turnovers are piling up.
Well, they keep the pressure on you on this end of the floor as well because of their dribble drive and how good they are off the bounce. So they pressure you with D and they pressure you with their offense.
Now Warren loses it. Cameron Brink over Harmon, coast to coast. Brink's first field goal. She's almost a foot taller than Rory.
See, and that was a good decision by the freshman not to pick up a cheap foul there.
Moore missing the long 2. Haley Jones coming up with another rebound for Stanford. Puts her head down, draws the foul, and Haley will get a chance. And now 3 subs for each team coming in. That foul was on Harmon, just her first.
I mean, look how deep both these teams are. I mean, Tara Vanderveer's got 17 players on her roster.
They barely have enough chairs over there. And here's Jones going to the free throw line. What a Final Four for Haley. Going into the NCAA tournament, she was only 1 of 9 from 3, hit 5 of 8 from distance, and NCAA is coming up big as they won that championship. Chevalier, number 25, coming in. We've had 4 lead changes already in this game. There's Chevalier.
See, Hull just stays on the top of that dribble drive.
Audrey Warren.
And they call Warren for a push-off. So you got to referee the defense there, Pam. You got to get legal defensive position. Obtain legal defensive position.
That's the second on Audrey, who has yet to score. Warren averaged over 10 points a game last season for the Longhorns. Warren wearing a collar on her neck. You might have noticed it's a Q collar. She's had a history of concussions, been in concussion protocol a couple of times last year. And that device helps with the blood flow. Football players sometimes will wear it, and just trying to keep Audrey Warren out there on the floor.
I talked to her this morning about it, and I said, I have not seen any other athletes wearing it. She said football, lacrosse, she's seen some other soccer players.
Amazing technology. Oh, Frechtel just rejection time. Beliebe trying to post up Lattimore. All the way across, and Hannah Jump was standing on the sideline, so another turnover for the Cardinal.
Tara Vanderveer's team trying to get their motor going. Maybe it's going to be because of their defensive effort in the paint. The block by Frechtel, up the floor by Stanford.
Coming up on the Jeep halftime report, Paige Buckets, shall I say, continues to add to the myth and the legend. We've also got the All-Lobo team. Can't wait to get into that one. And Rebecca, as far as the current game goes, well, what have you seen so far?
Well, as we've seen a lot early in the season, teams' defenses are ahead of their offense, but Texas in particular's defense looks terrific.
Big Schaefer has the Longhorns swarming. Let's get you back to game action with Pam and Debbie.
All right, Monica and Rebecca, looking forward as always to your halftime, and very much looking forward to watching Ryan Howard in our next game.
I think she's an explosive shot maker who is born to score anywhere you put her on the floor, and she is a late game alpha. Everyone will know she'll have the ball in her hands. There will be no decoy at the end of a game. It'll be Ryan Howard's game to win or lose should they come down to one possession. I think she's solid. I think she also has a chance to be the #1 draft pick in the WNBA.
And she's a great kid as well. That's coming up, Indiana and Kentucky after this game. Harmon with the miss. Haley Jones tried to hunt it down, and they will have the ball. Boy, Stanford hit their first 2 shots from the floor, now going through a drought. Missed 9 in a row. At one point, we have more turnovers, 19 turnovers and 10 field goals. Finally a 3. The first for either team. It's Ashton Frechtel.
Well, that's the advantage coming off the timeout. You know the bigs for Texas have to get out on those, off those ball screens and get to the perimeter and guard the three-point line when you have the size of Frechtel on the floor, who can knock them down from deep.
Stanford out to the 4-point lead, their biggest of the game so far. Shot clock is winding down. Alan Taylor notices, puts it up and in.
Oh, that's a tough 2.
Well, that is just a nice move for the junior from Houston.
I mean, it couldn't work out better for Texas. Deep into the shot clock, be able to make a play in the paint.
And he's continuing to do a lot of the ball handling out in front. Alan Taylor on the defense. Frechtel just hit the 3. Now Beliebe inside, and she is fouled by Moore.
Coming off the timeout, both teams executing very well. Look at Alan Taylor, gets inside. That is a tough 2. That was good D.
When you ask Vic Schaefer, that's the first word he mentions about Alan Taylor, just how tough she is. As Beliebe's at the line. Alan Taylor, her first couple of years, only averaged about 3 points a game, hung in there, and has become an integral part of this Texas team. Beliebe delivers. Three minutes to go in the first half.
They clear it out for Harmon.
You see the big height advantage for Lacey Hull over there on her. Alan Taylor challenging Beliebe, and she might want to not do that again. Frechtel, good closeout to stop the 3, but they get it around the horn to Haley Jones, who's fouled by Hunter.
That's the first possession of the game where Stanford moved the ball, everyone got a touch, and Texas was late on a closeout. Otherwise, Texas ball pressure has been on point. That's the way Stanford moves the ball that we've become accustomed to watching a Tara Vanderveer team play. They get a stop, they get a transition opportunity up the floor. Watch the ball move, and everybody gets a touch. They make Texas close out. Late on this one, Haley Jones going to the line for 3.
And Haley Jones has all of her points this afternoon from the free throw line. Stanford already with 4 blocks this afternoon.
This is my Haley Jones graphic on how she's a full court facilitator. Terrific in transition. Great versatility from the three-point line to the rim. And we're seeing that on display here this afternoon.
And adding a new dimension to her tool belt as a de facto point guard, handling the ball a lot more now. As Tara Vanderveer tries to settle that position.
Sorry, Pam. It's going to be really interesting this year because there's going to be a lot of players that aren't going to have the same numbers that they've had in years past, yet still add incredible value and should be in consideration for National Player of the Year and or All-American lists. Haley Jones is going to be one of them. I don't know if she'll have the same scoring numbers. There'll be times when she does, but the rest of her game for Tara Vanderveer is invaluable because of what we've seen so far. Her ability to initiate up the floor to relieve pressure, her ability to make plays in transition, her decision making with her frame in the paint.
Stanford on a nice run to take this lead. Ball right to Harmon, who knows exactly what to do with it. America, say hello to Rory Harmon.
Yes.
She is special. As Vic says about her, Vic Schaefer, she's got some stuff to her. A little of that attitude, toughness. Stanford throws it away again. Like going back to your point about National Player of the Year, maybe numbers down. Leah Boston at South Carolina, her number's probably going to go down because they have about approximately 30 players, it seems, on that
Same
team.
story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be the same for a lot of players across the country. I don't think Caitlin Clark's numbers are going to go down at Iowa. And Paige Becker's numbers are going to be only more efficient at UConn.
Yep, and adding Lazy Fudd. And fired up, Leah Moore.
This freshman class for Texas is going to be outstanding. Big time bucket in the paint.
Love the reaction from the freshman from Moore, Oklahoma. There's several McDonald's All-Americans on the team.
I mean, if you're Vic Schaefer, you have got to be pleased with where your team is right now on the road. And, you know, hey, that Big 12 is wide open now that Coach Mulkey's not in there anymore after dominating the Big 12, winning 12 in a row at Baylor. It's going to be a little different this year.
Yeah, very different. Kim Mulkey moving on to LSU. Nikki Collin taking over down at Baylor.
Don't forget about Iowa State and Bill Finley.
Oh, no. Ashley Jones, hey? She's fun. Harmon, the freshman, with the ball in her hands, pulls up and hits it. Oh my goodness.
Gamer, baller.
Ties it up with a minute to go.
I don't even think she's got a sweat going yet, Pam.
And she's very even, keeled, tough. She just goes out there and plays well. Believe-y, that's a nice finish.
See, they started the game playing through the pinch, and Believe-y does a great job shaping up at the elbow. If they can get the entry pass to the pinch or to the elbow, that's where they can really do a lot of damage with their offense. Instead of going for a 2-for-1 here, Vic Schaefer's going to go for one good possession.
Shot clock winding down. Alan Taylor looked like might have gotten a piece of it. But then the follow by Moore. Leah Moore with 5 big points in the last minute. We're tied up again. Shot clock's off. We got a shot. Frechtel.
That possession was minus Kiana Williams. There's the difference right there, not having a 4-year starting point guard. One of the question marks for the defending national champions this year.
A 9-2 Texas run. Rory Harmon's good to end the half. We're tied up at 25. Coming up, the G halftime report. Welcome back to Maples Pavilion. About to get underway the second half. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Number 3 Stanford tied up with Texas, 25 at the half. As we get ready, Deb, they have twice as many turnovers as field goals. And only 2 assists, both of them thanks to Haley Jones. Again, trying to find a new point guard with Kiana Williams moving on. Wilson, the starting point guard, but Haley Jones has done a lot of the ball handling.
She has not had a chance to invert to the block yet, and here's one adjustment to start the second half. Haley Jones to the block.
And a good start for Lexi Hull.
Well, Stanford had better ball movement. I like the adjustment early by Tara Vanderveer. If Anna Wilson's going to be the point guard, then by golly, she better be the point guard. I bet it was something like that was said at halftime.
Yeah. Gaston gets her first bucket. And scoreless in the first half. We were tied at 10 after a quarter, tied at 25 after the half. And characteristic full court pressure for Texas. Oh boy, Alan Taylor almost forced turnover number 13.
Well, the one thing you always wonder about pressing Stanford is, are you giving up backside threes? And so far, Stanford hasn't been able to take advantage of the ball pressure. There's a foul on Harmon.
Yeah, and Wilson, pardon me, looks a little shaken up. Stanford has missed 12 of its 13 threes. Texas 0 for 2 from distance in the first half. And Wilson coming back as a 6th-year senior, getting an opportunity to run the point, something that she relishes, that new challenge. Harmon coming back and is right in Wilson's face. Haley Jones says, pass it to me, and they do. Just in the nick of time. Yeah, the fans like that. Wilson passes up the 3 for the open 2. Textbook.
Yeah, so Haley Jones knows she can beat Moore up the floor off the bounce, which forces Texas to rotate to the paint. That's why Anna Wilson is left wide open and does a nice job with a ball fake to create some space.
Yep, and get the higher percentage shot that she nailed. Alan Taylor, still no 3 for the Longhorns. The ball goes out of bounds. And Texas to set up the pressure for Vic Schaefer.
You got to set a better screen than that. See, there's a chance to trap Haley Jones over there on the sideline.
And you pretty much know Jones is going to be the first option to get the ball in, too. Haley doesn't get the bounce. And how about Brink? Usually she's the one doing the blocking, but Gaston was able to get her shot from behind. Brink had a couple of blocks in the first half.
Well, when you go against Texas or you're Stanford, you better get your butt down and get in the stance here in the second half.
Alan Taylor blowing by Wilson, but Cameron Brink looming. Whistle after Lacey Hull missed the 3. Warren hits the floor. Wearing that Q collar to help mitigate effects from post-concussion syndrome that she has had issues with the last couple of years.
Tara Vanderveer may want them to take a look at this because there was a little extracurricular while Warren was on the ground.
Fans here at Maple agree with your assessment. The personal was called on Brink. Pantoja going over to talk to Vic Schaefer.
You know, we haven't had many of these, but you can, as a coach, you can request to take a look at it. So Brink steps over. It looks like Warren hung on to her foot a little bit, maybe.
So as the officials sort this out, we'll take a quick break from Stanford. Welcome back. The officials looked at that last play, and nothing extra like you thought, Debbie, just a common personal foul on Brink.
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything there. I thought it was a safety measure by Audrey Warren to make sure that she didn't get stepped on.
By holding onto the foot. You know what's really interesting and fun is Monday Night Football with Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2 this week at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and it's an all-California show. It's the Rams and Niners. Monday Night Football coverage also available on ESPN and the ESPN app. And those guys get some great guests as well. Michael Strahan was on the Giants game. Jon Stewart, very talented comedian. It's a lot of fun on ESPN2. That game being played in Santa Clara, not too far from here. Northern California is a pretty part of the country, just saying.
It's beautiful. What a great day today and yesterday. It's great to see the fans back. The fans are excited to be here.
Because remember last year there was a 9-week, 63-day road trip for Stanford. Tar Vanderveer said it was a nightmare of a season that turned into a beautiful dream when they won the championship. But now they are back. Neither team shooting the ball well, as you might expect, and a combined 1 for 17 from 3. But we got ourselves a close ball game. Second game for each team, toughest test for each team.
Really good defense right there, Pam, by Hull.
Texas not the only team that can D it up in this building. Alan Taylor able to curl and find a nice look.
There's a communication mistake by Stanford defensively. I heard Anna Wilson call the switch, and Haley Jones didn't switch.
They do it again, barely. Yeah, they did force the turnover. That Texas pressure has been relentless. Look, Vic, he's got that big old Texas smile on his face.
Nothing makes him happier than a play like that or when they get a 5-second call on defense.
Well, they have just been terrific. Harmon throwing up the shot, trying to draw the foul.
Another good defensive effort right there. Harmon is tough to keep in front. Oh, that's Audrey Warren stuffing that dribble handoff.
Now foul out on the perimeter on Harmon, who's going to head to the bench. Chevalier checking in for Texas. That is the third foul on Harmon.
You know, we're used to seeing Stanford pass, cut, space, knock down threes. Texas has really taken all of that away.
All the stuff for which Tar Vanderveer is well known.
That's the way they like to play right there.
Brink in great position.
You take a shot from somebody that you know is going to take it. It allows you to get to offensive rebounding position.
Remember, Harmon out of the game with the 3 fouls now for Texas. A little different look. Warren getting it inside. Gosh, and Gaston couldn't finish. Wilson left open, short. Wilson hit the floor afterwards, no foul called. Physical game continues.
Oh, what a screen.
Jones right at the screen. And another foul. This time Wilson does draw one. Stanford out rebounding Texas by 8.
This is what you call taking the defender out. That is a big time screen to free up some space. Now, if the pass had been better to the corner, that's a 3.
And just to clarify, an absolutely legal good screen, right,
yes,
by Haley Jones, even though there was contact. Here's Wilson after Alan Taylor's foul. Co-defensive player of the year in the league last year along with Ari McDonald. 2 squads meeting in the championship game, Arizona and Stanford. Now a 4-point advantage. Wilson gets a nice hand as she heads to the bench for the Cardinal.
Pam, the way this game's going, 1st to 50 might win. I didn't want to say 40.
No. Lexi Hall got inside of Warren. Good defense and a nice finish.
I think Stanford has played their best basketball with Frechtel on the floor. When you've got Frechtel and Brink, you've got two tremendous shot blockers. It allows you to be a little bit more aggressive on the perimeter. The Hulls have been outstanding. Great effort, good finish off the steal. That's Lacey with a bucket.
For the win! National champion!
Dynasty fulfills its destiny!
The great upset in history!
Oh my goodness, March 18th. Can't wait. Who's going to raise a banner then? And a banner will be in this general vicinity. See the national championship? They're going to add a new national championship banner. They're going to get the rings after this game. This is a big day at Maples as they celebrate Tara Vanderveer's third national championship.
No upsets in the women's game today so far.
Not yet.
Right?
Yep, all the top 25 teams have won. Texas, thanks to a 6-0 run, trailing by 6. Pam Ward, Debbie Antonelli joining you. Joanne Allen Taylor with the miss. Ebo, nope. Lexi comes down with it.
I mean, Lexi and Lacey have been tough.
Yep. Brink tried to tip it. Warren able to come away with the rebound. Harmon still on the bench for Texas, their leading scorer this afternoon with 14 points, but sitting now with 3 fouls.
The other thing too, Stanford's played a little bit softer of their defense, meaning, you know, trying to keep Texas in front.
Did you like
As
that
Audrey
little
Warren.
stuff from Warren, a little
I
behind
like
the
it.
back?
Oh yeah.
Nice finish. Good style points for Audrey's first field goal. Stanford being outscored in the paint this afternoon. Jones picked up her dribble a long way away. Warren tried to draw it, and she got the call.
Well, it's a delayed call.
Yeah, it came from the official in the back, Tiffany Bird, not Nicole Murray. Nicole Murray, who was closer. And remember, we talked about Audrey Warren, who has had an issue with some concussion syndrome. I'm not going to speculate that that's what's happening, but anytime you see a hard fall like that, you gotta wonder.
Well, watch Haley Jones picks up her dribble, okay? And we don't have the cylinder rule in the women's game. If we did, that would be a foul on the defense. Now, did Haley Jones reach her shoulder and drive her shoulder or push off? That's the question there, and the baseline official had the call. So now they're going to take a look at it at the monitor. We had a rules call this week, and one of the point of emphasis that Penny Davis from the NCAA office talked about was flopping. But you can only call flopping if you go to the monitor and you go for something else, and if you see flopping. So the stand, you know, everyone in here thought it was flopping.
Call stands, first personal foul, number 30, Haley Jones, second team foul.
So Haley Jones called for the common foul.
Yeah, the call's going to stand as what we saw on the floor.
Yeah, the foul called, so that would stand, but the concern again from Warren, we saw Coach Schaefer rubbing the back of her neck where she has that cue collar.
Look, I don't like to see anybody get hurt, but Haley Jones couldn't pivot.
Yeah,
Okay, so that play favored the defense. I like the plays that favor the offense where you can pivot.
she had no room to move. Frechtel! I like that player. Another block for
She's been a difference
Ashton.
maker.
Yep. Luxury to bring someone like Frechtel in off the bench. Great hustle by Evo, but then Brink gets back quickly to pick it up. Chevalier with some hawking defense. Shot clock. Oh, Brink with a resounding screen that sent Chevalier to the floor.
Well, Texas got to communicate that.
Gosh. Point ball game. Warren. Another foul, this time on Hull. Warren hits the deck again.
You know, watch when Audrey Warren gets to that right hand, how hard she turns the corner off the bounce. There was definitely contact there, and you have to protect the shooter. Watch the screen right here. Ebo should be up there saying, screen, screen. You can see she's pointing. Maybe that's one of those habits that players got used to without fans in the building, that, you know, you got to yell a little bit louder. You got to be a little bit closer to be able to tell her that screen is going to be set.
Warren's 2 free throws cuts the lead to 2. Beliebe checking in for Brink. For Stanford, there's Fran. Short for Lacey Hull. Now Texas can tie it or take the lead.
While Rory Harmon gets the rest.
Yeah. That would be a big plus for Texas to be able to do that. Frechtel again.
And look at her run the floor.
Beliebe puts her head down, goes by Warren, can't finish.
One of the defensive principles that Vic Schaefer wanted to take away from Stanford, and they've done this for most of the game, is not allowing that high post entry or that entry to the elbow. You can see why it's so dangerous when the ball goes there.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the quarter. Alan Taylor. There's Lacey Hull bringing the ball up. Frechtel, a little bit too strong. Lacey with another board.
Yeah, I think Audrey Warren a little bit fatigued. Texas a little fatigued right now. Can you sustain that kind of defensive energy for 40 minutes?
Yeah, it's tough. Lexi Hull hitting the 3 to get the lead back up to 5. Hey, just 2 of 19 from distance for Stanford this afternoon, and the finish for Moore. All the way for Lacey Hull. Her first field goal among the variety of Cardinal players who will bring the ball up for him this season. Warren, more contact, no foul, but Texas hangs on.
One of the adjustments Tara Vanderveer made out of the halftime was getting Haley Jones off the top of the floor, and the Hulls have been handling the ball at the top to initiate the offense. It's opened up the floor a little bit in the middle. Taking advantage of it, Pam.
Yeah, absolutely, pardon me. Lexi Hull is 1 rebound away from a double-double. Chevalier got Beliebe up in the air. Moore blocked by Beliebe. Got to shoot. Stanford's turn to have a nice defensive stand. Fran Beliebe yells, "Let's go," as she runs up the court. Just 1 second difference between the 2 clocks. Stanford 9 blocks.
Stanford ball, and they've got 2 seconds to get it across midcourt because the 10-second account. You got to throw this one long.
Frechtel and Lexi Hull standing near midcourt. And a jump. Gonna throw it in. Throws it long and throws it away. Warren then was fouled by Lacey Hull, who ran into her. That desperation that we talked about to try to get it over midcourt. So that induced the long pass and the turnover.
I would have considered having Anna Wilson inbound the ball there, knowing that she can throw it the full length of the floor, like her brother Russell, right? Throw that full court pass.
He's pretty good at that.
Baseball pass.
Third foul on Lacey Hull. So now the shot clock's off for Texas. They do not bring Harmon back in. Schaefer keeping her on the bench with the 3 fouls, so Chevalier running the show. Warren, but Haley Jones closed on her. And the Stanford defense coming up big on that last possession of the third quarter. The number 3 team hanging on up 5 as we go to the fourth.
Mr. Vitale, I just wish you the very best. Get better, get well. I'm a big fan. I'm looking forward to seeing you back on television and cheering for. College basketball is not the same without you.
Hey, Coach Vitale, Vic Schaefer here at the University of Texas. Just want you to know we're thinking about you, praying for you. We know you're going to be great. You're going to get through this, and you're going to come out a winner as you've been all your life. So hang in there. Giving you the Texas fight today. Hook 'em.
You sure do got this, Dickie V. We're all pulling for you, and we are praying for you, and you continue to battle and fight. We can't wait to get you back as one of our colleagues at ESPN. We miss you, my friend.
Absolutely, and it's fun. The coaches were more than enthusiastic to send their best wishes to him, as we all do. Harmon back in the game and then comes in and just does Harmon things.
That's why you got to have her.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, good job coaching by Vic Schaefer to have enough to keep it a 2-possession game while she sits with 3 fouls. It might be a blessing towards the end of the game because she's not coming out.
And you know what's nice is Audrey Warren is not starting the fourth quarter. She looked absolutely gassed, so she's going to get a nice little break. Harmon back in after sitting for much of the third quarter with 3 personal fouls. Pam Ward, Deb Antonelli joining you from Maples Pavilion. Haley Jones with the bucket.
Yeah, her ability to invert to the block and score is a big part of her offensive package.
Such a special player, the junior from Santa Cruz. Gets the lead back up to 5. Harmon trying to...
She's the only offense right now, Pam. She is so good off the bounce.
And able to elevate. Rory's listed at 5'6", which might be with her tennis shoes on, or basketball shoes on, but just able to elevate nicely over 6'1" Lexi Hull. Oh, there is a turnover. Faru back in the game. Mississippi State transfer. Harmon looks over to Coach Schaefer for instructions. Harmon, just shot clock in the singles.
Probing, looking. She's not going to give it up here.
Even against Haley Jones. Wow. Contact, no foul, and then Harmon gets up from the floor and picks up the rebound. Jones, a little bit of a smile on Haley Jones's face as she guards Harmon out there. Now on the switch, Matharu puts one up, and another offensive board for Texas. Ebo.
Look at Harmon catch her breath right here with the ball. Look at how spaced out the floor is by Texas. She gets the switch she wants.
I got Believy up in the air, but could only get one hand on the shot. A little push shot with her right hand.
You know, the ball pressure has really taken away the Stanford vision up the court in transition.
That's a tough turnaround for Lexi Hull.
The Hulls have combined for 13.
Faru was able to rid Wilson and knock down the 3.
Well, you gamble on that play like Anna Wilson did. Here you got a 3-on-2. Frechtel from the corner, wide open.
That was the first three that Texas has hit this afternoon after missing their first three of them from distance. Moore could not chase it down. Coming up Tuesday night, we will have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese Davis and the guys will break it down, along with committee chairman Gary Barta. The University of Iowa AD will be there for a live interview. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Coming your way on Tuesday. 2-point ball game for the defending champions. Kentucky, Indiana, women. Follow us here on ESPN. Ooh. Harmon trying to get in the way, and she's pointing the other way, saying that's Texas ball. And the officials disagree.
Vic Schaefer upset, thinks the ball goes the other way.
And his daughter Blair Schaefer was the get him back guy. She came in, grabbed him and said, let's get back towards the bench. And now the ball goes over to Texas.
And now Tara Vanderveer's upset.
Yep. A couple of cranky coaches as Texas gets Audrey Warren back in. So she was able to rest for the first 4 minutes of this quarter. She was going full bore in the third and was winded. Took a rather hard hit too when she drew a charge.
She's a tough competitor.
Big time. So now Texas looking to tie or take the lead. Harmon finding space. Ebo had it taken away by Lacey Hull. She brings it up. Lexi, nope. Harmon, the smallest player on the court, gets it up to Matharu. Drew the foul.
Well, a couple of trips up the floor, Stanford's had numbers in transition, and they have not been able to convert. They had a 3-on-2. Frechtel missed a 3. They had numbers the last time. And you know Texas is going to be aggressive to the rim. I am really impressed by the ball pressure by Texas to be able to get this game at a one-possession game in the fourth quarter on the road with 7 new players for Vic Schaefer.
Matharu with the miss.
I mean, Vic Schaefer calls this his dream job. He grew up and was born across the street from the Texas campus, Breckenridge Hospital. He's a Texas guy.
Born in Austin, raised outside of Houston. Coming back. And he's got his team to within 1. Tough road game. There's some good Stanford ball movement. But Wilson couldn't hit the shot. Matharu fouled by Lacey Hull.
There have not been many Stanford possessions where they've played off the pass. Texas game plan defensively has been terrific.
Stanford has only hit 14 field goals, but just 4 assists.
2 for 22 from the three-point line. This high ball screen has been trouble for Stanford defensively all game. And right there, again, you know, Haley Jones, are you going to go under? Or are you going to come out and you're going to cover? How are you going to deal with that? And Texas has taken advantage. They have multiple guards that can play in that action.
Matharu with her second 3, a 7-0 Texas run to give them the lead. Inside 5 to go. Wilson runs into Warren, who draws another charge.
Watch Matharu, Haley Jones, a softer cover, And the Mississippi State transfer sticks it from the top of the key.
Welcome back into the college basketball studio. Let's get you a little update, shall we? Caitlin Clark, her team's rolling. They're up big, but she has 22, 11, and 7 assists. She is flirting with a triple-double. We'll see if she can get that done in the next 2:33. Up next, number 13, Kentucky. Number 8, Indiana. Ryan Howard will be featured in this matchup. The last 2 matchups between these teams decided by 4 points or less. Stick around.
I'm watching Indiana, Kentucky when this is over with.
I mean,
we are. Indiana,
not just
everyone back.
Yeah, Indiana has some stuff.
Hey, listen, Grace Berger competes on every possession. She's a winner. She's got a great mid-range game. And in a late game situation, Terry Moore, the head coach at Indiana, completely trusts her experienced backcourt along with Grace Berger and Allie Patberg. This is a very good Indiana basketball team.
A lot of experience back. And that's coming up when we are finished here, but look what we've got. We've got Texas up 2. Stanford's won 21 straight games going back to last season. Audrey Warren got the defender Hall up in the air.
Look, Audrey Warren isn't going to be the fastest, the quickest, but she is going to work hard and she has all the angles. Right, what a terrific job using her footwork around the rim.
Really coming on in the last couple of years. Now Wilson takes a hard hit.
That's number 4 on Harmon. Look at Warren right here. Pump fake, step through, high off the glass. Gorgeous.
Rory Harmon, as you mentioned, picked up that 4th foul, but right now she is staying on the floor for Texas.
Well, you got to have her out there. You just got to make her play smart. Now, if on the other side, if you can take advantage of her on the other end of the floor and see if you can pick up that 5th foul.
Stanford kids are smart, so I think they would know that, and they'll go after her knowing she's got 4. Matharo just picked up a foul.
Well, see if you can get her in a switch with Haley Jones, right? And then you can get Haley to take her to the block.
They've had trouble getting the ball in on several occasions. Jordan Hamilton, number 14, in for Stanford. The Northwestern grad transfer throws it away. Good defense on Matharu. Now Hamilton brings it up. First ever grad transfer for Tara Vanderveer at Stanford. Belibi working on Ebo. Oh, almost threw that away.
I think Matharu got a piece of that. What another good defensive effort by Texas. You know, this is where you wonder where Stanford's identity is, right? Who's going to be their late game alpha? We know Kentucky next coming up. Ryan Howard is the late game alpha. Who's going to finish off this game for Stanford? This is, again, another example of where you miss Kiana Williams.
Yep. Vanderveer talking about how she's trying to get the right combinations on the floor. A tough test today, to say the least. Matharu with the shot clock winding down. 2 big threes for her in this 4th quarter. And just like that, it's a 7-point advantage.
If you're out there watching this game and you're a 5'5" little girl, you will be able to play in the college level. Don't let anybody tell you you're too small to do this.
5'5's not little, it's average height. It's normal for people like me. Welcome back, Leah Matharu, the junior from Washington, D.C. via Mississippi State, with a couple of ice cold-blooded threes. And then it's a 7-point advantage. It is a 12-0 Texas run. Stanford's gone 4.5 minutes without a point.
Coming into this game, did you think that Texas was going to make more threes than Stanford?
No. They need one now. Get it! Lexi Hall.
Again, Haley Jones inverts to the block where she can be in that playmaking spot for Tara Vanderveer.
People with the towels and the mops have been busy today because we've had a lot of bodies on the floor.
As Stanford huddles over there underneath the basket, it's Haley Jones doing most of the talking. It's a 2-possession game with 2.5 minutes to play. Remember, we said there were no upsets in the women's game today.
Got one brewing.
Beautiful. High off the glass. Almost hits the shot clock. It's so high off the board.
Texas has struggled against top 10 teams, but they're trying to beat Stanford for the second straight time. Beat them a couple of years ago down in Austin as Jones took some hit.
Well, look, everyone knows when you play Stanford, it's the ability to disrupt and not allow them to do what they want to do. Okay, and not many teams can do that.
Right, easier said than done, sure.
Texas has the exact personnel that Vic Schaefer would need to continue to build on what he did last year in the postseason. Right, knocking off a 2 and a 3 in the NCAA tournament.
Taking out UCLA and then Maryland.
To get to the Elite Eight, and they played South Carolina in the Elite Eight, and South Carolina was just too good at that time of the year.
Jones delivers at the free throw line, but in this fourth quarter, kudos to Leah Moore. She was 0 for 3 with no points coming into this quarter. She's got 12 points, including 3 for 3 from distance in this quarter. There she is.
I mean, bring that high ball screen back again. Moore has been terrific playing out of it.
So much confidence. 4 for 4! Bingo!
All 4 triples for Texas from Leah Moore.
And all of them coming in this quarter. Warren again, man.
She plays hard. She's a physical player. Texas has run into a couple of screens this afternoon, and I mean, really hard screens.
It was Frechtel. This time she ran into one with that Q collar. Boy, be concerned for her. But that's the way she plays too. She's not gonna back off, but that was another tough screen. Stanford needs points. And that's a defensive foul against the Longhorns, pardon me.
What you're seeing, Pam, is Stanford doesn't really have someone that can break you down off the dribble, get into the paint, and kick to a shooter, right? That's what they're missing, that they will have to continue to evolve. And even the passes that they've made once they've gotten a piece of the paint aren't to the shooting pocket, right? So there's just little details that they're going to have to clean up. Nobody better to do it than Tara Vanderveer.
Jones just 1 of 2. Frechtel couldn't come down with it. Ball stays with Stanford. Good hustle by Lexi Hall. Just over a minute left to go.
See, look, the energy, the body language, all favors Texas right now. And Stanford just looks hesitant, right? Game's on the line. Look at Stanford. They're just not connected right now.
And that was the concern for Tara Vanderveer coming into this season. We had a chance to speak with her yesterday. Again, trying to get, you just take that, again, taking that one rower out of the boat, and that's Kiana Williams, and now trying not just to get a point guard, but to get everybody else and some of these new players and finding the right combinations. And then when you're facing a defense that is so tenacious and so well coached from Texas, right now it's a recipe for a loss unless Stanford can come up with a big comeback in the next minute plus.
So Tiffany Bird came over. We've had a lot of conversation with the officials today. They've done a great job.
Awesome. Yep.
Texas appealing the out-of-bounds call. They want to take a look at it. That's why we've gone to the monitor.
And this is what that defense has done.
It's been terrific. They have really limited Stanford from catch and shoot. They haven't gotten anything in transition. They've turned them over 19 times. And Tara Vanderveer obviously concerned about her team turning the ball over 21 times against Morgan State in their last outing.
Stanford has only taken 7 shots this quarter. As we take a look at the play, Leah Moore coming in. 15 points for Moore, and all of them coming in this quarter.
So I'm wondering if Matharo's foot was on the line before she threw the ball off of a Stanford player. I mean, this is critical right here for Stanford, who's not really shown the ability to get as many stops as Texas has been able to. Hard to tell from our angle.
Yeah, we couldn't tell if the ball hit Moore when she was out of bounds. The call was that it's Stanford basketball. Everything's so crucial right now.
Well, it's a 3-possession game. Okay, so Stanford has got to consider looking to foul, get a stop. Well, really, not yet. You got to get a stop first. Okay, you got to get a stop, and you got to look to push in transition and see if you can get something quickly. Texas is going to run their dribble drive, and they're going to take time off the clock. Okay, they're going to be very disciplined in the last couple of possessions here offensively. Vic Schaefer has done a terrific job of shortening the game.
And Texas was down by 5 coming into this fourth quarter. And Moore doing most of the work offensively. She has 15 of their 21 points here in the fourth. Stanford's just scored 9. So it was Harmon for the first 3 quarters, shouldering most of the offensive load for Texas, and then Moore taking over here in the fourth.
So the call on the floor was Stanford's ball. So, and while they're over there, they can check the timing as well.
And they have put 2 seconds back on the clock. Sometimes that's why even obvious replay calls, they just want to make sure the clock is also correct. Stanford winning 21 straight games on their way to the national championship last year. Back-to-back losses. Colorado on the road in overtime, then to UCLA, ran the table since. They've not lost a non-conference game here at Maples in almost 4 years when they lost to Tennessee. So it will stay Stanford basketball. And the clock updated to all ones. Minute 11. 2 seconds put back on the clock. 20 seconds on the shot clock for the Cardinal, who are down 7.
So because of the challenge, Texas loses a timeout.
Still have a couple. Jones. Maybe surprised to see she had that easy and free of a land to the bucket. Cuts it to 5. Pressure now from Stanford. And Harmon able to dribble away.
Yeah, see, they had numbers, but they want to take time, not points.
That's smart. For the true freshman.
You got to make sure you rebound if you're Stanford.
Frechtel just tried to foul her. Jones is out there.
You don't want to foul now. There's 10 on the shot clock.
Frechtel tried to take it away, almost did. Ebo looking for help. Alan Taylor throws one up. Good defense from Stanford. Took up about 28 seconds, though, on that possession.
You got to attack off the bounce right here. See if you can get to the paint.
Frechtel chancy, and it's taken away by Warren, who stepped in front of Jones. And then the Stanford foul.
Audrey Warren did a terrific job jumping the passing lane and did not let Haley Jones post her up. That is a big-time defensive play.
people going to look as the Hull just picked up her 4th and say, well, Audrey Warren only had 6 points today, but boy, she's done all the other things, drawing charges, making that defensive play that you mentioned.
Well, Stanford's going to have to get a tip or deflection, try to get a steal. If not, they're going to have to foul right away. So Tara Vanderveer putting a little bit of defense on the floor here, maybe a little bit more quickness.
Yeah, there's Fran Belibi coming back in at 6'1". Agnes Emma Nopu, a 5'11" sophomore, checks in for the first time, number 2. And she is guarding Harmon, sent her in probably to... She could waste the foul with that after she was not able to come up with the steal. There you see it, the last non-conference home loss right before Christmas 4 years ago against Tennessee, who was in the top 10 at the time. 21-game winning streak on the line.
Getting offense back on the floor for Tara Vanderveer.
Getting Ashton Frechtel back in. Boy, Rory Harmon, what a debut for her as a collegian on national television.
This free throw is important because it makes it 3 possessions.
Lexi Hull grabs it. Stanford calls a very quick timeout. Stanford in the bonus, have a couple of timeouts remaining. So when these two teams played 2 years ago, right? December in Austin, Charlie Collier had 20 points. Number 1 overall pick at the WNBA this past April, and then Joyner Holmes with a dozen. The Longhorns upset Stanford, their first win against an AP number 1 team since 2004. And now they're trying to take out the defending champs and the number 3 team at Maples, where this team hardly ever loses.
Well, Vic Schaefer, his team knows what their identity is, right? They're a ball pressure up the line, very good defensive team that executes the dribble drive very well with the kind of personnel that he needed to be able to run his system, and he got it in that freshman class.
Another nice. 21 seconds left to go. Let's quickly go to Monica McNutt in the studio.
Thank you, Pam. Kentucky at Indiana is underway. 4-2 early. At the conclusion of our ball game, Texas versus Stanford, Kentucky and Indiana will be back over on ESPN. For now, head over to ESPN News.
All right, that game starting on ESPN News, but stay right here on ESPN because we have an upset in the making.
So Stanford doesn't necessarily need to have a 3, but they've got to score quickly. It's a 2-possession game, but if you can get a 3 and it's the best option you have available. And Stanford in the game today has only made 3 triples. Lacey Hull has 2 of them, and Ashton Frechtel has 1. Excuse me, Lexi is number 12. Lexi Hull has 2.
They have missed 20 of their 23 three-point attempts.
So
that's amazing.
If you can get a direct pass to Haley Jones to the block and she can score quickly, or if not, get it inside to her if she has an option to kick it out for a 3, then you're going to have to foul right away. Texas, who's only turned the ball over 10 times, has 2 timeouts remaining.
Game was tied after 1 quarter, tied at the half. Stanford up 5 coming into the 4th, but it's been all Texas. Long 3 for Frechtel! Oh my!
That was NBA range. Wow. Now maybe the body language and the energy has shifted a little bit. Look at Frechtel. This is 6'5", gets her feet under her shoulders. Look at the range. It's not how many you make, Pam. It's when you make them. And now you're playing the math game, okay? Now Texas has to take care of the ball. They're going to inbound and advance the ball up front here. And you know Stanford's going to go for a steal, maybe a trap, and look to foul right away. You don't have much time if you're Stanford to mess around with it. You got to foul, and I would not let Rory Harmon catch the ball. If I could deny her and make someone else catch.
Yeah, because Harmon, if she catches it,
actually, Vic Schaefer has elected not to advance the ball. He wants to inbound it under his basket and use the speed of his team in a full court situation. So in this situation, Stanford can't get beat over the top. And Frechtel at 6'5" is on the ball.
Yep. Getting it into Harmon, that's a smart way to go. She is so fast. And it forces Manopu to foul her.
3 for 6, Pam, is Rory Harmon from the free throw line. This young freshman has been focused and has been terrific all game. Stanford will call timeout and advance the ball here.
Wow, so cool. Got them both. And that adorable little girl is Deanna Jackson Durrett's daughter, Layla, right?
That's right, Layla. I asked her today if she had the scouting report down, and she pointed to her finger to her forehead like she had it in her head, and she's 3.
Yeah. The paisley top with the burnt orange pants and scarf. The camera shy for once. Holly Schaefer, who is Vic Schaefer's wife. There she is.
Okay, so if you're Stanford, you same thing here, Pam. If you can get a 3, you take it. If not, you got to score quickly. You want to try to extend the game as much as you can.
Vanderveer, that's Kate Pay, Katie Stedding over there on the bench. Great staff.
And Texas going to switch on everything here. And I would see if I could get Haley Jones to the block or Frechtel outside the arc. And what Texas is going to do is they pre-switch.
Jones trying to get free, has it, has to shoot. Frechtel just a little bit too strong. Rebound, Audrey Warren. And a held ball, possession arrow in favor of Stanford.
That was a well-executed play. Frechtel had a great look.
Just a little bit too strong. Timeout, Texas. Keep it here with 9.2 seconds left to go.
What a great job Vic Schaefer and his staff have done today. I mean, just a terrific job to come in here and show what they're capable of doing. Of course, their schedule doesn't get much easier after today. And Pam, they're going to hit Tennessee on the 21st on the road, and then later on at Texas A&M. That's Gary Blair, who has announced that he will be retiring at the end of this season. Of course, Vic Schaefer was on Gary's staff at Arkansas and at Texas A&M when they won the national championship.
15 years, an assistant under Gary Blair. And they're also going on the road to play Arizona later in December. So tough stuff for Texas, but here we go. Haley Jones with the inbound, Belibi, Frechtel, 3. Another one, close but no result, and now a foul on the rebound as Jones is struggling to get up. Foul on Texas.
She got cleared out on a box out. So now it stops the clock, and now Jones will go to the free throw line. Well, Ashton Frechtel, how about 3 consecutive plays that Stanford runs for their 6'5" post player for 3s?
Hit the first one, the next 2 were close, but rimmed out.
Okay, so now do you intentionally miss this one? Try to tap it out to 3. You still need 2 scores.
Just 4.2 seconds left. Manopu back in, Frechtel and Hull. Lacey out, Brink back in to get on the ball.
You got to get a steal, a deflection, a tip, possession of the ball, or a 5-second count.
Warren.
Timeout, Texas.
Ooh, got it into Ebo, but Texas called the timeout. And Texas now is out of timeouts.
If you're Texas, all you got to do is inbound the ball. All right, if you can inbound the ball. Stanford without timeouts, Texas without any timeouts. So Stanford won't have the ability to advance the ball. So if you could just get it in bounds, knowing that they're going to steal. When you catch the ball, if you're Texas, you got to be strong with it.
Both teams in the bonus. You see the possession arrow in favor of the Longhorns.
And you can run the baseline. You got to all-out deny. Cannot get beat over the top if you're Stanford. You've got to get a steal and a three. What incredible strategy at the end of the game, right? A lot going on. It's great.
Nick Schaefer and Tara Vanderveer going head-to-head here. Their second games of this season. Texas trying to come up with the upset. We have outscored Stanford by 8 in this quarter.
Yeah, Stanford had a 5-point lead going into the fourth. And then Leah Moore made some threes in that high ball screen action in the middle third.
4 of them to be exact.
See, now Texas advances the ball, which is the right time to do it, right? Because you don't want to turn the ball over underneath your own basket. And give Stanford a chance in the scoring area to get a steal.
Yeah, Stanford unable to get the steal, so Lexi Hall forced to foul, and she is fouled out of the game. Does so with a team-high 16 points and 11 rebounds, so Hall gets the double-double. And now Matharu, who is the offensive hero here in the fourth quarter, can ice it. Schaefer gets his other 4 players off the free throw line. Matharu with 14 points in this quarter.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stanford did have a timeout left. We had it as no timeouts left.
Sorry about that. 17, excuse me, for Matharu in this quarter. 17 points for her. Harmon with the team high 21 for Texas. And yep, some of the folks, Leila's falling asleep. Come on. Making the trip from Austin, and looks like it's going to pay off, Deb. But how about Leah Moore here in the fourth quarter?
I mean, the transfer from Mississippi State was terrific beyond the arc. She does a nice job of playing in this middle third in their middle ball screen action. She just pulls it back with a cushion and knocks it down. See, this is the danger of Texas off the bounce. You have to play them a little softer out there, and Matharu knocked down some threes, 4 of them.
And that's not today. I mean, she was 0 for 3 coming in, 0 for 3 from the floor coming into the fourth quarter with no points.
Total team effort by Texas. They set the tone early.
Yep. Dick Schaefer said if they could hang in there for the first 5 minutes, the next 35 minutes would just be basketball. And that basketball was in favor of the Longhorns with a terrific fourth quarter. And the Longhorns have upset the defending champs. And for the second time, they take down Stanford as a top 5 opponent.
What an incredible team win for Vic Schaefer in just his second year at Texas. You could see the effort at the end of last season, and then one of the things he told his team was make them bleed to score. He made it tough all game for Stanford.
So Texas takes it 61-56, snapping their